cannot attend the meeting today, you can watch the meeting back at a later time. So Smith, you can go back one more slide, please. Yeah, so today I would like to just give the overall that the meeting agenda for today. We're gonna give some introduction. It's been we had the public information open house on this Shoal Creek project about 2 years ago. So we would like to give some update about where we are on this project, especially on the Midway neighborhood. So today the speaker will be myself, Alia Johnson, and also Tiffany Simpson, the senior engineer for this project. And we are going to leave the question and answer toward the end. If you have questions along the presentation, you can leave it in the chat and we can answer the question toward the end of the presentation. Okay, so what we do here for the Department of Watershed Management, so basically we are serving approximately 700,000 DeKalb County residents. We are maintaining the water and sewer infrastructure for DeKalb County. So we take the raw water from the you can go back the slide. Thank you. Yeah, we are treating the water. Basically, we take the raw water intake from the river, and we are treating at our Scott Keller water facility. And after the water is being treated, we are distribute that into our distribution system to distribute to the resident within DeKalb County. And after that, we are also collecting the wastewater, which is going through the collection system and treat it at our wastewater treatment plant. We do have two main wastewater treatment plant, Pobridge and Snap Finger treatment plant. We're having 5,000 miles of water distribution system combination with the sanitary sewer system, which is typically about half and half, 2,500 miles for each of the system. Next slide, please. So basically, this graphic just gives everyone the overview of what we do here. This is for our gravity sewer system. So typically, the home and the resident are connected to our public sewer system through the sewer lateral that you can see on this slide. And it is flowing through the collection system via gravity flow. This project is to you could go back. This project is to repair and replace the existing sanitary sewer system and also increase the capacity of the system as well. And once the wastewater is being carried over within this collection system, it's being carried over to the wastewater treatment plant to be treated and released back to the river. Next slide, please. So why are we doing this project? As you might be aware that our infrastructure for both water and sewer is ages are like, just like any other utility within Georgia or within the US. So our water and wastewater system is over 70 years old. So that structure is out of sight, out of mind, and sometimes it could cause any issues. So it is over 70 years old, so it's time for the sewer system to be replaced. And I just want to give a bit of the background that DeKalb County is under the consent decree by the US EPA and the EPD. And under the consent decree, we do need to fix the sewer spills that you might see that come out of the manholes. And if we don't fix that, that could cause us to have to pay the fee for the EPA. So within that, the EPA and EPD also have the different location that we call PFL or the priority fix list. And those PFL sites are the sites that have the repeated sewer spill within a certain time frame, let's say 2 spill within the past year or so. So those are on the list that we need to complete it by a certain deadline. Midway Wood had one of the PFL site as well that we're going to talk into more details later in this presentation. So that is one of the reasons for this project. And also the lack of capacity. as you know, with the growth in the population and more development that come to tie in with our system, there's a need to increase the capacity for our sewer system. And lastly, the operational efficiencies. The sewer in the system that is in the ground right now, in some area, it could be installed, it could have some reverse slope, which could cause the potential spill, or the system could have the crack or fractures, or also there's the grease or wipes or anything that could cause the blockage in the system. So this project going to fix all those issues. Next slide, please. So what are the benefits to our shared environment? As I mentioned, sewer spill a couple times today, that is the main reason that we are fixing this project. So if the sanitary sewer enter into any water body, the creek, the river, that could cause the very potential hazard to the environment. So we are trying to make sure that we're preventing that from happening. So we just want to make sure that we have the healthy ecological system. Next slide, please. So here, I just want to give some of the existing conditions. Some of these pictures are part of Shoal Creek project. It may not be in Midway Wood only, but throughout the whole project, we did walk the site. And as you can see, that some of the area has, like the first one, area crossing. Those are the ones that cross the creek in the area, and that could cause sometimes, you can just, that type could cause the damage easy. So we try to eliminate those area type crossing. Some of the manhole is in the wetland and it's in the floodplain. The next one, reverse slope, for example, that could cause some potential back spill, and also, it could cause the spill. The next picture is another creek crossing, and also the next one, there's a lot of large tree that grow on within our sewer easement. That is the example of the manhole that have the tree grow on top of it. Last one is the example of the manhole in the creek bank. Those are, at the creek, we need to restore the creek. So those have manhole will get fixed, and we're gonna move it out of the creek bank area. These are just some of the example of why we really need to do this project. Next slide, please. Okay, so I am going to give a quick overview of the overall Shoal Creek Trunk Sewer Improvement Project. So the Shoal Creek project is spanning about 13.3 miles. So basically, if you can see from this map right here, starting from Decatur area up on the top, on the north of the map, which is where Midway Wood is. And if you can follow the map through the blue line in the big oval, go back please. The blue line, if you follow it downstream, crossing I-20, the first portion is called section 3, and you will hear some more about that. And we also break it down into 3A and 3B. And once it crosses I-20, keep going downstream, that is section 2, which is near Shoal Parkway and Boring Road, where it stopped at 285. And then the last section, which what we call section 1, is started at that Shoal Parkway, Boring Road, all the way down to the treatment plant at the Snapfinger. So those are section 1. And the way we will do the construction of this project, typically we start from the bottom, which is the downstream section 1 first. And then we go north. We're gonna talk to more detail of the construction sequencing later on. And I just want to give that quick overview that this project is crossing 3 highways: Memorial Drive, Glenwood Road, Shoal Parkway, and it spans within the different commissioner district 2, 3, and 4, and also super commissioner district 6 and 7. Next slide, please. Okay, and now I am going to turn the presentation over to Tiffany Simpson, who is the project manager for Shoal Creek project, to talk specifically about Midway Woods neighborhood.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Tiffany Simpson, and I'm the DWM Project Manager. Um, my role is to work closely with the design team from concept to completion and make sure that it's done successfully within scope, schedule, and budget. To piggyback on what Aaliyah discussed, we'll get more into the Midway Woods subdivision. If you can go to the next slide, Denise. Okay. So, as mentioned, there are three sections. If you look at the map, this is actually just section 3B. The blue is 3B, and the green is the PFL site, just to kind of give you an illustration of what it looks like. Um, as far as proposed project timeline, we will start with section one. Again, it's Flat Shoals Parkway to Snapfinger Plant. Then we'll move into section two, Flat Shoals Parkway to I-20. Um, and then we'll move into 3A, and then we'll get into 3B. And this is where you guys will be affected by the project. Please note that we're looking at construction in 2034 for this project. Anticipated, again, that time frame could change depending on discussions with the agencies. But the PFL site that you see in green, that will uh, we anticipated construction in 2026. Again, oh, I can't. Can you go to the next slide? Okay, and after design, it will go to a construction manager. But just to kind of give you some insight on what construction methods you might see, that would be open trench excavation and some jack and bore. That's showing examples of some of the construction that might take place. Okay, next slide. Okay. And during construction, it will get a little messy, but our goal is to restore in kind and make it look like the picture on the right. Next slide. Okay, so after the design is complete, then we move into easement negotiations. There is a process. First, we usually work with a third party, um, and they begin the property research. They look into easement requirements. They start the document prep, and then they package to the homeowner. So we may or may not need the easement depending on the property and where the location of the construction is taking place. So you'll see they'll contact you, um, and then we'll, they'll discuss stipulations. And this is where, for example, you know, if we can avoid an azalea that your grandmother might have planted, we just kind of work with you, and the third party usually just tries to get with DWM to see if we can mitigate any um, issues with taking out the azalea if we can. And then there is a final review, and then it's recorded. Next slide. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about the process. We are we have completed the design phase, and next will be the easement phase for the PFL site starting in 2026. Um, but then also remember the other part of 3B, it will probably be closer later 2026 when we acquire easements. And then also for the bid phase, again, we're looking at more so uh, closer to 2034. And then we'll hand it off to the construction manager, and it will be the construction phase, and it'll get kind of messy. And but then there'll be post construction where we do restoration. Next slide. So we also have the website available through DWM where you can go and it's interactive, and you can take a look at some of the slides if you want to look for more information on this project. Next slide. This is some of the communication that you might see: a right of entry form, acquiring easements, and also um, you'll during the easement phase, we'll do the third party will contact you and bring a plat and go over it with you, what you're looking at, how much easement we may need, permanent or temporary. And this is what you see on the right side, some of the forms that you'll see come across.
And that conclude our presentation. And if anyone have any question, you can leave the questions in the chat box. Right now, I do not. Okay. Patrice or Sinis, if one of you can help read the
Hi, good
question.
evening. Yes, I'm scrolling up to the next first question we have here. Mr. Jevons. A second. Yeah, I'm just making
If
sure.
you could bring the presentation back up so we can need to refer it back.
Okay. Okay, yes. So we have our first questions. What can homeowners in the neighborhood expect when the project starts? For those homeowners, one second. Sorry, this is okay. And for those homeowners who has property adjoining the creek, what should expect? What should they expect? Understand that trees will be removed. Well, I guess maybe want to start with the first questions. There's a set of questions. So I'll let you start with the first one. How can homeowners in a neighborhood expect when the project starts?
So yeah, Tiffany did mention that this neighborhood alone will be divided into two different phases, which two different time frame. The first one started in around 2026, and the second one is around 2034. So similar thing before the project started, you will get notification. The first thing that you will get was before the construction even started, you will be approached with the easement package if your property require the easement that you need to agree upon and sign. So that is the first step that you might see some activity. If you live within the PFL area that was mentioned, you'll be in contact by our third party firm to get you to review the easement package and sign if you agree to provide the easement to build the project. And once everything is done, when the construction is ready to get started, the plan, we're probably gonna have another outreach type meeting. It could be in this format, that to let the community know that the project is about to get started. We would have the contractor in the meeting with us at that time to answer any questions specific for the construction, like where we're gonna do the access road, where the road gonna be blocked, and what is, detour and that kind of thing. And when the project gets started, the construction, it's gonna be done by phase. So let's say if we said it's a 3 year project, it's not gonna be in your neighborhood, it's not gonna be like 3 years long. It could be like in your neighborhood, it could be 2-3 months, and then we move on to the next phase. And after the construction is completed, we will restore the project or the area back to its original condition or better. So that's just a general answer. What would the neighborhood expect when the project starts?
Okay, thank you, Aaliyah. And the second part to his question is, for those homeowners who have property adjoining the creek, what should they expect?
Yeah, so for the property, typically we do need to have the the protection for the stream bank, just to make sure that we're not approaching or destroy or any debris from the construction will go into the creek. So those stream will be protected before the construction. And actually, I will let anyone in the team, if anyone want to chime in on any of this answer, you can chime in at any time.
Yeah, if you would like me to do that, most of the impact will be along the creek and to the properties along the creek, because that's the low spot and that's where the existing trunk sewers are, and we'll be replacing with a larger trunk sewer. And if you're uphill, you'll hear the construction, but you won't have it in your backyard. So that's the first question.
Yes, okay. I'm moving forward to the next question. Understand the trees will be removed. Do you have an estimate of how many trees might be removed in the area or in Dearborn Park? How will they be removed and which trees will be replaced?
The short answer is that a significant number of trees from the plant all the way up to the north end of this project will be impacted by the construction, but it's within the area that should have been clear of trees all along for the vast majority of it. An exact detail of how many trees might be removed from this area, we would, I don't know what this area exactly refers to, but we can get a count and that can be provided later on. And same for Dearborn Park. They'll be removed by conventional tree removal techniques, where they start at the top and they pull them down. They bring them down piece by piece. As to which trees will be replaced, it will depend on the location and the results and the requirements of the land disturbance permit issued by the applicable agency, whether the county or the city of Decatur, depending on the location.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ed. And the restoration of the creek, what will be done to restore the creek?
There are standard details to the contractor that are in accordance with what the EPD has reviewed and will approve. DWM has done many creek crossings over the last decades, and they have defined approaches and requirements to the contractor for stabilizing the creek bank where we're replacing an existing aerial crossing.
Okay, thank you, Ed. And I believe Aaliyah touched on this, but should the neighborhood expect 3 years of disruption while this work goes on?
No, yeah, like I mentioned that it will be done once that area is completed, we'll move on to the next, so it could be the matter of like several months. But
The only caveat, Aaliyah, is we don't know how the contractor will sequence. There are three separate lines, two main lines, line B1 and B2 in this project. And they may choose to do line B1 first, then do B2, then finish off the other little bits of the project. So the duration, construction duration impact to a property is right. She's right, 3-4 months maybe. But overall, we can't. It won't be 3 years of disruption to the whole area. It will be that will be discussed in what will be an upcoming meeting a year or 6 months before the construction as part of a pardon our dust meeting, and you'll have all the details of knowing what contractor has been selected, what their exact approach will be, the exact phone numbers for the people to contact if you have any questions, things like that. Right now, none of that is known, and it won't be known until the project is bid.
Okay. And there was I guess, a repeat question of will you be replacing any trees? And Ed, I know you touched on that. And the second part was what size height will the manholes be?
Assuming they're referring to the ground surface, a maximum of 4 feet above grade. If you, particular homeowner would like that has a sodded backyard or some other features, the top of the manhole can be flush with the ground surface. All the manholes will have sealed covers because we're 100% in floodplain in this location across the whole project.
Okay. Kevin made a comment saying that they were told there'd be 45 trees in Dearborn Park at the open house a couple years ago. I didn't, was that
I
still
would
valid?
have to go back and look. I was at the open house, Mr. Polite, but I couldn't. We can confirm that. We have tree protection plans that have been done as part of the design drawings, but the actual tree restoration process is done after all the permitting requirements are laid bare by the local agencies.
Okay. Okay, and this one, I think you may have touched a little bit on this, Ed, but other than the fact that that construction team will be working in the backyards of the properties along the creek, is there anything else that homeowners should expect? And is the county considering purchasing any properties along the creek?
The first part of that question, there's really nothing else that you should expect. You'll have a lot more information when you get closer to construction, and particularly at the Pardon Your Dust meeting, you'll be able to meet the contractor, meet the inspector, the construction manager, and the general way it's going to go is the erosion control, the silt fence, all the protective measures will get installed first. Trees within the erosion control area, the work area, will be removed. If there's any rock encountered, they'll deal with the rock first. Then they'll come through, dig and install the sewer, and then there will be restoration crews that roll up right behind the excavation and pipe installation crews, so that hopefully within a very short time, your backyard looks as good as it can until the grass grows in. As far as the purchasing properties, Aaliyah, I'm not aware of any, but I defer to you.
So typically the county do not purchasing any properties along the creek or anywhere unless there's a certain reason, but it's not a typical thing that we do. So the answer for right now, we don't have any plan to purchase any property along the creek.
Right, just the easements necessary, temporary and permanent. I think that answers that question from Mr. Blanchard.
Thank you. Okay, and we have one last one so far. It says, let me know if I'm interpreting the map you showed correctly. But it looks like the 2026 phase of the project will be where the branches of the creek converge near Oldfield Road. With the majority of the work in this area slated for 2034 to 37 time period. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would like, first of all, Sydney, if you could refer back to that map so we can explain it more accurately. And in the meantime, I would like Hayden from Atkins, who is the engineer of record on this project, to help answer this question. Hayden?
Hey, good evening. So the 2026 phase of the project is for the small portion of the line B.2 that you're seeing here. It's the green portion there. It's about 700 feet of pipe upsizing to 24-inch. And it is just east of Oldfield Road and just west of Conway Road. So access will be off Conway Road. And it falls on 8 properties. So this will occur, as you correctly stated, in the 2026 phase prior to the complete work slated at the later time period.
All right, with that complete.
Okay.
Let me see, there may be one more here. Okay, Harold said thanks for that information. That's all we have as of now. If anybody has anything else, we still have a couple minutes here if you'd like to drop any more questions in. Okay, I have one from Miss Martha Miller. Do you know what part of Conway would be affected?
Hayden?
Hayden?
The access would be off Conway, but the work would be down in the valley next to a safe distance from the creek bank.
Yeah, correct. So the existing sewer parallels the creek, kind of as if you can see on the map there. And so the 2026 portion will also parallel the existing sewer, which parallels the creek bank. It's about 15 feet if you're looking at the center line of the existing sewer to the center line of proposed sewer. And access would be off kind of the cul-de-sac on Conway Road just before it dips into the creek portion.
Okay, so she just wants to confirm, like, will it run along Conway?
No, access would be off Conway. The sewer install is adjacent to the creek. So Conway is just the closest access point to get to sewer.
And just adding to what Hayden just said, the entire project runs along the lowest drainage points of the county because everything flows by gravity down to the Snapfinger plant, and that's how your system drains down into the low spot at the trunk sewers. So all of the trunk sewers are in parallel to the creeks or adjacent to the creeks.
Okay. Yes, that was the last question so far that we have from Ms. Miller. Don't see anything else coming in right away. Okay, we have one more here. From Kevin, are they leaving in the old pipes and putting the new ones adjacent?
Hayden?
So this is a case-by-case basis. If you're talking about the Midway Woods area as a whole or the project as a whole, there are some that will be removed and replaced, so the old will come out, and the new will be installed in the same alignment. In all cases, deeper than the existing and larger. And in some cases, where we did have to offset, the existing will be abandoned in place, but the top portions of the manhole will be removed. So there won't be anything visually seen there, but it will be abandoned in place.
Okay. All right, and that is the last question right now as so far. Just 1 second and see if anybody else has anything. Okay. All right, if anybody has anything else, you can leave your questions in the chat once again. But we answered all the questions thus far.
Yeah, at this time, if you can, Denise, go back to the very first slide. I want to make sure everyone have the email address for the project specific on the first page.
Okay.
But it's Shoal Creek Trunk Sewer at DeKalb County.gov. So go back to that. The very first one, if you have any questions or any concerns, anything that you need our attention, please make sure you send your questions to the Shoal Creek Trunk Sewer Project email box. And also, we have the project website for the Shoal Creek Trunk Sewer as well. And where we will provide periodic update up to getting closer to the construction. You will get some update from the project website as well.
Okay.
And Patrice, anything would you like to close out this presentation on your end?
Okay, we just wanted to thank everybody for joining us tonight. As we said, this meeting was recorded. It will be available on our website and our YouTube channel, as well as this presentation and our previous Shoal Creek Trunk Sewer Improvement Project presentation will also be available on the website. And if you have any questions, as Aaliyah said, please feel free to email us and we'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. Thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us tonight for this meeting. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay dry out there in this rain. And thank you again. Have a good night.
Thank you.